Hi guys, welcome to our last assignment for our COVID-19 year. This is our culminating task, and so I'm going to go through everything you need to know. There's a lot of reading here, and I know some of you sometimes miss the details when you have to read, so I'm just going to go through everything you need to know. Okay, so first of all, this is based on all we've learned so far. So we've been covering Illustrator, typography, Photoshop, and website content creation, so Wix. And these are basically the things that you need to get involved in any design program or to start your career in graphic design. And what we're going to be doing for this task is going to be combining these four things. Okay. Um, because of COVID-19, we haven't done as much as we normally would, and we haven't gotten into the detail we might have got into in some of the areas that we have worked in. So to account for this, we're going to be doing a little bit of a variation rather than the normal ISU. Okay, this is kind of a condensed assignment, which is based on the skills that you have thus far. Okay, below you're going to see a couple of graphics. Okay, there's a coffee graphic, a type graphic, and then some coffee spills. Okay, and then below that you're going to see a magazine layout. Now those elements were used in Photoshop to create the layout that you see below, kind of like what you did with the Hawaii postcard. Okay, so students normally would be given this as part of their Photoshop skills test, and then they would have to create this document or this PSD using the given elements. You're going to be doing something similar to that, but instead of it being about coffee, you're going to be doing or creating a magazine layout about education during the time of COVID-19. Okay, so that's what it might look like, except instead of coffee, you're going to be talking about COVID-19. All right, so some requirements. You can download a layered PSD page template, which has been sized to the right size. Okay, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, that's this. Okay, so you can download this file. Okay, and I've created and included in it a layer that has the shadows. Okay, so that's a background with the working area and these shadows to create your page divide. Okay, which is just a gradient. Okay, and so you can download that. That's down here. Just click on it. It'll take you to the download page, just like we have with all the other images. Okay, and then something to note is that gradient that I showed you, it's set to darken because if you leave it at the top of your layer stack and you put everything else below it, it'll look realistic. So let's take a look at, for example, here's a surgical mask. Now, so you want to start thinking about the types of images that you might want to have, but say I want to include a surgical mask. Okay, so I'm going to copy this image here. Okay, and then I'm going to go to Photoshop and I'm going to paste it. Now, if it's on the top layer like this, it doesn't look great. I mean, it looks fine over here, but if I had it like this, it starts to look not great. If I drag this down below this layer, you'll notice that the shadow now, because this is set to a multiply um, treatment, it now multiplies and it gives it the look as if this were, on an actual page. Oops, on an actual page layout. Okay, so keep that in mind. You can show me some of the skills that you know by like cutting out this white or whatever you're going to do. I'm not sure what your layout's going to be, but just some things to keep in mind. Remember to keep this layer, okay, your shadow page divide, at the top of your layer stack. Okay, back to our task. Okay, so what you need to do, okay, you need to decide on a design concept, okay, so find appropriate graphics online, images online, and use Photoshop to build your design layout, okay. Notice in the image above here how this coffee cup has been cut out of this graphic here, okay. This was a circular selection that was cut out to create that look, and then there was a shadow applied, okay. That shadow that you can see here was applied on a layer, okay. The coffee spills, for example, have been set to either a darken or multiply layer so that no seams are visible. And then some of the graphics, like this triangle here, this dotted line, and even this black box here, those were created in Illustrator and then pasted into the Photoshop file. Okay, this main text cafe was purposeful. Okay, it was chosen because it's a kind of a bold classic serif font. It wasn't just a randomly selected font, okay, so something that was, striking. And then all the other typography demonstrates things like hierarchy and proper tracking and leading and kerning, okay? And so those are all things we learned about, and I want to see those demonstrated here. Okay, you should be aiming to use this project to demonstrate what you've learned this year. Once you've finished your layout, post it to your website on its own page in your portfolio. Additionally, you must include all original images and graphics. So if you did, for example, use this image, I want you to include on your Wix page, not just your final work, not just your layout here, but I want all of these included on the page so I can see what you did. Okay, I can see that this was actually cut out of this image, or that you have to select part of it, or you have to clone stamp part of it, or whatever that you had to do. I need to see all the elements that were used to create that. Okay, so make sure that you, when you save images, you right click and you save them in a source folder, or a folder on your in your project folder that's like all of the source files that you're going to be using, so that you can include those on your Wix page. Okay. Okay, and then finally, as with all of our other Wix projects, you need to write a description. Okay, your description should explain your work in clear, full sentences. You should proofread your work. You should check it for grammar and spelling mistakes. Okay, the communication portion of your mark will be based on the writing and any writing within your layout. So if you make a mistake, like a spelling mistake, or there are grammar errors in your Photoshop file, and that includes in your layer names, then you'll lose marks on your communication. Okay, so notice when you're working in Photoshop, you need to name your layers. Okay, you need to spell them correctly. I don't care so much about things like capitalization, but they shouldn't be layer 1 and they shouldn't be misspelled here. Okay, any text that you have in this layout here in Photoshop, so anything that's in here needs to be spelled correctly too. Okay, so I'm looking for all that sort of stuff. Okay, that's it. The only other thing to really consider is copyright for images, but for this assignment, that's not a concern. Anything that you can find online, you can use for this assignment, and we don't need to do any crediting for this because this is used for education. Okay, that's it. Good luck. Put everything on your website. Be as thorough as you can. Show me all the skills that you can in your layout. You may want to do things like go to Google and search magazine layout ideas to get some kind of layout ideas of what you might do. You'll notice there's a ton of variety, right? Some are going to be like text, based on like text heavy, or some are like photography heavy. There is going to be a lot of like design based on, you know, again, typography, image based. You're probably not going to want to do something, even though there are some very cool layouts with a lot of text. You know, you're probably not going to want to have to write a ton of writing into, where am I here, into this, right? So you're going to have to do a little bit of a paragraph here, okay, to introduce your idea, and you may have a couple, like a leader here and a little bit of a paragraph intro text here that you'll need to write, but you don't need to do a whole article. And if your layout were something like, I don't know, something that was text heavy like this, that's a lot of writing that you probably don't want to do. You're probably going to be looking more something like, I think this is an interesting idea. I think this is an interesting idea. There's a lot out there, okay? And that's it. Go get inspired by different design ideas and layouts, and then show me what you know. All right, good luck, guys, and I will look forward to seeing your work. Goodbye.